There's no sound on my end. I don't know if that's on purpose. Is there supposed to be sound?
Yes.
I can hear it.
Okay, let me share the right screen. You can't hear the sound, Laurie. Lowell, you
I hear you
I can hear it.
speaking. You can hear it?
I can.
Oh, okay. Well, that must just be me then. Okay.
welcome everyone. We are joined by the beautiful dolphins as we are raising the Lemurian frequency. I'm Loren Galey, and I am so pleased to be here in this very special presentation. This is Lemuria Rising, Awakening Lemuria. It is a Mount Shasta retreat, a preview for a retreat that we are holding in person and on live stream in July of this year. So thank you and welcome everybody. I want to welcome Laurie Reyon here, and I want to invite Lowell Johnson. Lowell, you can now share your video as well. And we welcome everyone for being here. This is a beautiful time and place. Hi, Lowell.
Lauren, it's good to see you. And Laurie, it's good to see you. It's been a long time. I got to tell you this before we begin, because I'm hoping Judy is going to show up. I was going through my files today, and there was an audio file that I had, ripped from one of your mech sessions, and it was with Judy. This was shortly after you and I had begun to communicate, and it was like in February of 22. And the
Yes,
beginning of it is Judy talking about me and
exactly.
how we need to connect. So see how everything's coming full circle.
Yes, it's so beautiful. And so Judy is stationed in Oklahoma, near Tulsa, Yukon, Oklahoma. And she is not going to be with us in person. She's going to be doing a digital presentation on Zoom. So that is just as good because the information, the wisdom that she brings through is so heartwarming, so heart opening that it usually brings us to our knees in pure joy, love, and gratitude. So we are lucky to have her, and we are very fortunate to have you. And Laurie, I want to invite you to say a few words as we open up this very sacred space. The Lemurian Awakening Retreat is really your higher call, and this is the third session that we've done, the third year we've done this. Tell us about your insights on this beautiful event.
It is truly a life calling for me and has been since 2010. This is Loren and I's third opportunity to co-produce a Lemurian event, but it's my 13th year in doing it and
Mm.
following the calling to various Hawaiian islands and other locations I feel are connected to Lemuria over the years. Um, but I'm always delighted, always, my heart is called back to Mount Shasta as the energies continue to increase and expand. And, when people go there, they have such life changing experiences. And of course, please know that you can participate through the live stream as well and still experience the energies. But I wanted to say a few words that come to me. And this is one of the prayers that has been, I think, given to me from the Lemurians. The sacred earth, known as Mother Mu, calls us. We ask to be the hands and feet of spirit and bring forth the voices of truth into the world. The ancient Lemurian truths will speak through us for all to hear. We are the oracles of prophecy, and we are servants of the light. We are conscious creators, and we're called now to return to the holy mountain, to Mount Shasta, which is a part of ancient Lemuria, to rebirth the template of unity. So, and then I just thought I'd just take a moment as we open up to share some information for those that may not know some of the history and the legend, if you will, around Mount Shasta. So, Mount Shasta is in Northern California, and it's an ancient volcano near the Oregon border. It's one of the most powerful and high frequency places on the earth. It's a potent catalytic vortex that quickens people's awakening into the highest possible version of themselves, helping us find our true and our essential and our authentic beingness. It's an amplifier of your intentions and a place of instant manifestation. And I could tell you stories for the whole morning here about how I have manifested instantly there. And so has Master Buddha. Amazing stuff that happens when you arrive there. It's like you've entered a time of no time and everything just comes. So you can expect that if you come. But further, it's entirely, the whole mountain is a sacred site. There are also distinct Mount Shasta vortexes all around the mountain that resonate very specific frequencies, which catalyze and transform us in unique and very purposeful ways. My experience is that this volcano resonates with the crown chakra energy of the planet. I don't know if everyone agrees with that, but that's my experience. It's an energy of what I'd say pure spirit, a pure connection to God and to your own divinity. Master Buddha says that it emits a 0 point frequency, offering us unity balance, void of any kind of duality. There are vortexes at various elevations on the mountain that resonate at the frequency of all of our 7 chakras. So, wonderful place to go to receive balance. The veils or cracks between the worlds are so thin in the area and the energy so high that communication and encounters with ascended masters, such as Saint Germain and the ancient Lemurians or Telosians, are quite common there. So that's kind of something to look forward to, isn't it? I believe Mount Shasta is a part of the ancient lost continent known as Lemuria or Mother Mu that predates recorded history some 26,000 plus years ago. The ancient continent of Lemuria is said to have spanned the oceans from the tips of the Hawaiian Islands to Mount Shasta and even over to Easter Island. Lemuria was a peaceful fifth dimensional existence and civilization. When it sank, the Lemurians went into the mountain, Mount Shasta, I'm talking of, and developed the city and the civilization that we now call Telos. And that's part of the reason we go there, is to communicate with the Telosians, if you will. We believe that this is part of the reason the area of Mount Shasta carries the memories and the energy of Lemuria. It's why I think so many people feel the call to return home, if you will, that they feel that energy that's connected to Lemuria. So if your heart's calling you, our beautiful retreat is July 11th, 12th, and 13th at the Mount Shasta Resort. And of course, those that come in the physical will have a couple of trips out to the mountain for ceremony. And the trips are not physically taxing, so people really of all abilities can come and expect to be, greeted and welcomed right into the ceremony. People bring their drums and rattles, and of course, we'll create an altar there at the conference center as well. So it's a very sacred event, and it's a huge heart calling for me, and I know you're feeling it too. So thanks, Loren, for this opportunity.
Thank you, Laurie. I am so excited to go here as well. One thing I want to add about the Mount Shasta energies, and then we'll talk to Lowell, because Lowell has a fascinating experience. And part of the reason why people love going there is to get experiences like Lowell experienced. And it really requires one to be quiet. And so being on the mountain is a call for many, many hearts, and there's many beautiful high vibrational experiences. The Mount Shasta energy line, the Kundalini line of Earth, was in the Himalayan mountains before 2012. And then around that 2012 window, the great shamans said that this line shifted, this Kundalini line shifted, and it's now in South America, running up the Pacific coast of South America, all the way through Central America, Mexico, and the southern coast of California, all the way to Mount Shasta. And that is so powerful that many of us are called to certain of these places along that Kundalini line. And I'm just really excited to, from where I am here in Costa Rica on that Kundalini line, I'm very excited to go to Mount Shasta. I've been there before, and my first time there, it was very energetic. It was one of, you got to have your house clean, your personal vessel clean, or that mountain is going to clean it for you. Lots of the high vibration, like the energy vortex, you can really feel it. It's much like Sedona, for those who have gone to Sedona and felt that energy. And it really is a mirror. It's like a reflection of what is coming up in our life to be looked at. So if those who are going to join us live in person in Mount Shasta come in with really, what do you say? I don't want to say clean energy, clear energy, intention,
Sure.
do the
Pure
work,
intention.
pure intention, and open to feel the vibrations that are there, because I think the frequencies, you know, we've seen it from photographs. You can see that someone out in the nature, out in the trees, in the forest, just take in communion with the energy. You can snap a photo and see the violet fire, the violet flame. And that is so special and so potent for each of us. And it is life-changing. So I'm excited for that. And I would love to spend a few days after the time that we are gathering in the conference and be on the mountain as well, to take time to commune with the mountain. And as we'll hear from Lowell, that's really important for the energetics and expanding multidimensional awareness in that way. So with that being said, Lowell, I would like you to share in a nutshell, you
Sure. In a nutshell.
In a nutshell. Lowell went into Mount Shasta. You went in to tell us. That is a fascinating story. It is real, and you have a great experience to share.
Well, I want to reflect back on kind of the way that Laurie laid out the expectations and, you know, the Lemurian energies, and she did a great job when she described these energetic places that you feel when you're there. Over the 4 years that I've been there, my inaugural trip was in 2020. That was what I sensed first. I didn't know what I was going there looking for, but in the end, like Laurie suggested, I started wandering around, remembering Saint Germain used to wander around here. Hey, I'm out here. Any ascended masters have anything they can connect with me, I'm available. And then, well, something very different happened. My point is that as I keep going back, these energetic places are becoming either more activated, or they're just being more revealed. I sense the energy has always been here. It just need to be activated. But when the time comes for you to need to find an energetic spot to connect to, they ain't going to be hard to find anymore.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how much you want me to go into tell those, because I'll delight to tell that story. I love to tell it, but I have to tell you that there are other things that are going on. I want to bring focus to, I sat on the bench pretty much all last year. Most of you knew I didn't go to any conferences, and I sat back and I did the occasional podcast because I committed to, but something at the beginning of the year, everything shifted. You know, something shifted, energy shifted. I have some data to report. Now, you know how I feel about social media and likes and views, and you know where I stand on that. I could care less. So the Facebook friends I do have, they've been qualified. I looked at every one of your profiles to see what you do, what you show, if you have any pictures. And if you didn't have a picture of yourself, chances are you're out of here. So you understand how I qualify things. And at the beginning of the year, I had just noticed that my Facebook was up to a little over 1,500 people. And to me, that's plenty. Over the last few weeks, the Lemurian call has gone out. And I've heard from people that never heard of me before until the beginning of this year. And when I looked 3 days ago, there are over 4,000 people that I've said yes to. Now, what happened?
Yes.
Something shifted, because there's a lot of newbies in there. Like, you know, I wasn't aware of any of this. And you said Lemuria, or you said Inner Earth, or you said Telos. And man, I just needed to know more. And then there's those of us that know we have Lemurian roots. Yeah. And we've been sitting on the fence too long, just like Loren, it was time to go to Mount Shasta again. That's what I'm getting from a lot of these people who are aware of it, and they just didn't know who. Now, why they're all coming in my direction, not sure. I know that I'm carrying something that got clarity last week, because I had a Zoom session with a woman named Elle who's in Hawaii. Lovely person, Lemurian driven. She heard and she met the call. I put snippets of that out on Shift Watch last week, and it triggered two people that I never guessed it would have triggered. Someone who's been in this spiritual community, Reverend Carol, for decades. And when you see her demeanor, you get, this person is connected. And there's nothing she needs from me. And then those of you who may know about little Lily Nova, I put Lily in the same category. She is connected. And you know she's connected. There's an authentic quality that these people have. You just know you resonate with them. Lily didn't need anything from me either, but I triggered her in the same way.
Yeah.
So we're
Well,
pinpointing exactly what it is. And I'm carrying some kind of codes that are meant for the rest of you.
I'd like to comment just for a minute on what you're saying.
Good, because I'm
I think
done.
most of us. No, I don't want you to be done. I just want to comment on the calling. Just in recent weeks, we've experienced the largest solar flares,
Yes.
CMAs on our sun than we've experienced ever before. This light that's coming in is wisdom. It's activational. It's awakening, and it's catalyzing the people's hearts to awaken to their memories and to come back into some level of fifth dimensional thinking and living and being. And we're all experiencing massive changes because of the solar energy. And of course, it's been designed from the beginning to
Yes.
always come at this time in Earth's history. This is the time. And part of what I'm experiencing now, and some of you are too, is the dragons that are emerging that have been in the mountain, and not just that mountain, in other mountains too, deeply embedded in Hollow Earth. And they're bringing in the galactic information that we're all seeking. So I think there's a deep-seated part of every person, whether you come to Mount Shasta or not, that wants to wake up right now. And you don't necessarily, like you said, understand it, or maybe you can't put words to it, but there's a part of you that wants to wake up and know more about who you are, where you're from, what you're here to do, and to join in this mission that's the collective energy of Lemuria that's rebirthing itself. It's a reunion of souls. Okay. So I hope that's helpful.
Thank you for that. It feels so good. And I just want to comment on the incredible light that has been activated on the planet in this month. We're in the last day of May now, but this magical month of May, oh my God, the colors that could be seen around the planet in places that normally don't see that it just, I'm visibly shaken by it, just by the love frequency that something like that can get the attention and awaken. It's so beautiful. And this light is where we keep our focus in the face of everything. And we all know there's a lot of heavy stuff going down right now. The divide and conquer program, even in our spiritual community, is left and right, upside down, inside out. And so this light keeps us focused on the ultimate game, the ultimate prize. And so I just want to say that perhaps that's what's happening with Mount Shasta and this call
I
is
think so too. Yeah. There's a
it's
spiritual magnetism. My partner says it's, for those that you don't know, it's Master Cat Puda, who's an aspect of Seth. She's an old soul. We're being magnetized. The northern lights are no longer the northern lights, but they're bringing the magnetic field and the energy of the magnetics into this attraction that we have now. Either, to be in the heart and to carry more light, to be more light, to acclimate more wisdom, and to be more loving and compassionate in the world, or to not plug into it, like she's saying everybody needs a surge protector now, to plug in because of the light that's coming in. And if you only have one plug, you're in trouble. You need a power outage, power strip, I guess you'd say. But I mean, it's a time of change, and some people are going to go this way, or
I'd
some
like
people are
to
going to go.
underscore something that Loren touched on, because she said she was out in this environment and there's this new level of spectrums of things that she sees. That, my friend, should be evidence of your higher vibrations, because there are wider spectrums of sound that you're capable of hearing, and wider spectrums of color that seem new to us. We just dialed our DNA, and so now we can appreciate it again.
It's affecting our DNA and RNA.
Yes.
Yeah. I see Vivian has joined us. Do we want to give her an
Yes.
intro here? Hi,
Yes.
Vivian.
Vivian Chauvet, Arcturian Hybrid Ambassador. Hi, Vivian. You are joining us today from Contact in the Desert. Thank you for joining us. How are you?
I am doing very well. Can you all hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Well, it is a joy, Lauren, Laurie, of course, Laurel, Thank you for being here and everybody watching. So I am in my hotel room right now. This is why you see the weird background of my beautiful light language usual background. So my husband and I are here live at this conference, Contact in the Desert. And why I am here at the conference this year, it's because tomorrow I'm going to be part of the launch, the premiere of an exclusive sneak peek of this brand new documentary coming up called the Extraterrestrial Species Almanac documentary. And we'll have the premiere tomorrow night in the largest ballroom right here at the conference for those who will be in person. And then it will be followed by a exclusive Q&A with myself and other participant, cast members and filmmaker, and of course the author, Greg Campobasso. So this is why I'm here this year at the conference. It's for the launch of this very well anticipated documentary. It's been in the making for over 2 years plus, and it's finally going to be presented. And then the public release will be most likely in the fall. So we'll have all the details on my website and the links. But looking forward for tomorrow for the big evening. But in the meantime, I'm taking the time out of the crowd to be with all of you, and very looking forward to be in person in Mount Shasta for this exquisite 13th edition of the Lemurian Retreat. And of course, we bring our delegation with us everywhere we go. So thank you so much for having me this year.
That is the reunion. The word reunion, it is a reunion of souls. And, you know, right around this time, it's my 40th high school reunion. Can you believe that? 40th high school reunion that I am not going to, because this reunion is even more important than that one. This one, I mean, I'm like, high school, we have to go back to high school? No. So it's wonderful that we're all going to be together, and it's live streamed as well. That's the beauty of it, is that for those who can't make it to the physical place where we all are, what happens on the live stream is just as special and a great way to connect in as well. And so we can still hold everyone in that vibration. It's so precious. I wanted to say, Craig Campobasso, what a beautiful soul who actually has done a lot of research on Val Thor. Many of us know Val Thor from Venus. So I don't know, Lowell, if you've got anything to say about Val Thor. Laurie, have you ever channeled or received information from him? He lived in the Pentagon for 3 years. In the 50s, he lived in the Pentagon. And
Wow.
that's a fascinating story. If you've not heard
Not
of Val Thor.
specifically, no. I have a wonderful connection with Venus, though, and in our
Yes.
mastermind group, you know, we do a lot of Merkaba travel, and we go there fairly often to the healing temples and commune with the Kamaras, but not specifically this person here.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's in charge of a ship. So anyway, that's off topic from what we're talking about, but it is all related to Lemuria. Okay, so Vivian, could you share a little bit about your insight on Mount Shasta, possibly Telos, or even the energies when you visit Mount Shasta? What's that like for you?
It's a great question, Lauren. Again, always a pleasure to be in your presence. Mount Shasta is definitely one of the very important portal on the planet. It is also very connecting to the chakra system of Gaia, which evolve and expand more and more. And there's a direct connection between Shasta and Sedona, Arizona. We can tell these two portals already communicating with each other. They also representing the divine archetypes for the divine masculine and the divine feminine. So these two aspects needs to stay in balance. Over the last 7 years or so, Shasta has been, there was some contamination energetically wise that has been done. And I've been in communication for years with the Telosian and the Atlantean masters and the Lemurians who are there, and taking a lot of their nighttime ethereal class, so to speak. And it came to the time when the Telosian came to our delegation, the Arcturians, and says, we're going to need you to send your emissary in person to clear a certain time loop that Shasta was stuck in. And that was about 3 to 4 years ago. So when I returned to Shasta about that time frame 3 to 4 years ago, my delegation were asked to come and aid the delusion to remove a time loop that was put in place by the reptilian. So we did that deep clearing, and the mountain felt very hollow and empty when we were there about 4 years ago. So we did that clearing, we did the necessary extractions, and then I am pleased to see that for the last 2 years in particular, Telos is coming back in his purity, strong connection. And this is why for the last 4 years straight, always somebody invites me to a conference or an event there. And that's because my group is sending me on site so we can do and monitor the progress of Shasta. I want to bring that layer because like any other places, even Sedona, it's not just pure energy, there's also a polarization. And we are here to reunify that polarization field. And we've seen a lot of progress, especially last summer in 2023. And this year with the Lemurian retreat, I'm going to be there and I have a break in between. And I'm going to stay on site for another conference. Then I'm going to be all the way to July 21st. So we're going to be in Shasta for almost 2 weeks. So a lot of changes. We're preparing for the next gateway that we're shifting into 2024. It's a prepare. We're kind of creating the land. We're preparing the soil. We're preparing the timeline for it so we can embrace the next gateway that is be 2025. And that's a huge, huge gateway coming up. So how does it reflect on Lemuria? That's because the timeline of Lemuria in Atlantis are coming back in unification. It is a time of releasing the old matrix of guilt that a lot of souls carry from the catalyst, from the destructions, from anything has been tampered with around Lemuria in Atlantis. These old structures are coming to the surface to be completely clear, healed, and resolved to allow the new timeline to bring the next level of acceleration. So the Atlantean masters and the Lemurian masters have agreed to join and merge their timeline so we can evolve in the future timeline of what Lemuria is really about, alongside with the balance of Atlantis. And as part of my mission this year, I was asked to work on both. So I'll be doing more Lemurian work at the retreat with all of you in person in Sedona. And then before that, I'm going to be going to an island of Portugal to do more Atlantean work. So we're really working together in the same direction. And there's a need for a reunification. That's the word I've been getting. Reunion and also reunification. So we can finally release ourselves from any karmic loop in regards to Lemuria or overlapping the energy or the influence on Atlantis. So that's part of the essence of what we're feeling. It's a grand rising. It's a grand return, I would say, even more elevated than it was. This is why then when we received the lovely invitation to come in person, my Octran father said, "You must accept at once." So I replied to the email right away. Of course, we will be honored to be there because we're being sent and my delegation will be with us.
Beautiful. Well, we're so looking forward to working with you, and I know so many people are, to experience all of your wisdom and the catalytic energy of change that comes with us and what we're there to do, restoration energy. It's just, it's such a great time to be alive, to witness the shift of the ages. You know, we're in it, you know. My partner always says, you know, you waited a long, long time to be alive in this lifetime, to see so much change occur that was slow in previous incarnations, and now it's happening very quickly. So we're birthing that new template of unity, aren't we? It's a great time.
That's a really fantastic observation, Laurie, because that's exactly what it is we are birthing this new unified field, or this reunified matrix reality, and that's also supporting the organic timeline for the reascension. And if you look at the word reascension, it's really a return to a state of grace. Even the human body template is shifting. We're starting to move back slowly in terms of remembering the original celestial template, and the Lemurians are really keen on supporting humanity but also all life, whether it's the animal kingdom, Earth, Gaia herself in her consciousness, the quantum elementals, the three nations. Through the oceanic grid system, we know with the cetacean, like the dolphins and the whales that you are so well connected to master of. So there's really much a conjunction, and we can feel there's a palpable beginning of an acceleration. And I would say by the time we're going to be all together in Mount Shasta for the Lemurian retreat, we're going to be right at the peak, really much of that acceleration. So we're going to be able to really support that and bring the Telosian, the Lemurian masters. I can already feel the Atlantean master in the background that will be there as a support system. And of course, many enlightened intergalactic delegations, such as the Octurns that we are, the Andromedan will be there, the Syrians and others. So beautiful, very powerful time to read.
Beautiful. So exciting. It really is. You know, amazing. That
I
we're
do want to
expanding.
reflect on an observation that Viviane made, because I think it's important. You know, we all vibrate as Lemurians, and of course we do, and there's a lot of others that do too. But we can't neglect that there's Atlantean energies waiting to also bring their technologies forward for humanity as well. And I am fully aware of this reintegration that's taking place. So let's, just because things went sour on the Atlanteans' watch doesn't mean that all of them were the cause. They're waiting in the wings, just like we've been promised these Lemurian energies and technologies. Once this reunification on the surface takes place, we expect that from the Atlanteans as well. Heck, think of it, gang. They were the initiation of Egyptian culture. Of course they have things for the rest of us.
Beautiful. I love your energy. You know, I love it. When you connect to Lemuria, it really is a grand return where we're rekindling where our innocence, our purity. We start to feel also the orational garden for Gaia. And I can feel like a sigh of relief through Gaia's grid saying, I am returning to be a sacred garden like I've always meant to be. And so this is where that reunification is so important. And the process has started even last year when we were deployed in Greece and Santorini, and we did work very intensively with the Atlantean. And many of them have expressed a profound desire to heal and resolve the wound that has been shadowing many souls for thousands of years, but also with the energy of Lemuria. And then, of course, when we are in Shasta, we're going to honor Lemuria and the new light body, the Lemurian light body coming in, and to heal and resolve, even on the Akashic level, any form of sadness, grief, guilt energy. It is no longer sustained in the grids. And I know the Lemurian masters will be there to support all of us.
Yeah. I think the Telosians, who are, for anyone that doesn't know, the Lemurians that live inside Mount Shasta, the Telosian city, I feel their excitement, don't you? I mean, I feel like it's rising because they're just about ready or able, I guess you would say, to connect with so many more humans that have raised their frequency and are continuing to raise their frequency, where we can come together and share these fifth dimensional ways of living again. That, it won't be hopefully that long before the cultures can completely merge and we can share again on all kinds of technologies for healing and expanding and awakening the dormant DNA that the humans have, connecting to the animal masters, the star family. I just, there's so much to look forward to. And coming to this beautiful sacred place it's very catalytic for me. And I know it will be for many of you to just really shift your frequency into a place that's so benevolent and loving. It's just, yay, I'm excited.
Yeah, we're very excited. I love the concept of the reunification of Lemuria and Atlantis, because even in my own journey and my own awareness, I've recognized a little bit of guilt, a little bit of responsibility, guilt for the responsibility of failing in Lemuria, and then being a Lemurian in Atlantis. I have clear memories of that. And so how does that translate in this life? it translates in me not really liking to go east of the Mississippi. And thank God, so many beautiful light workers that are east of the Mississippi along the East Coast, all of it, doing incredible light work to sustain that energy there. So when we're talking about reunification of this, we're going to be done with that. That's the healing and the clearing that we can be doing. So Vivian and Lowell and Laurie, I'd like to ask you, I know that people will want to assist in this process of reunification. I want to give each of you a moment to share where and how we can assist. What can each of us do on an individual level to neutralize some of the things coming up? What can we look for? How do we identify it? Any advice on that would be very helpful. Laurie, let's start with you.
Well, we've created in the years of doing these retreats and just having Lemuria be a big part of our world, just that word and the resurfacing or understanding again of what it would be like to live in what we would now call the new earth, which would be returning to the Lemurian ways of living. I think the first thing I would advise people to do is just to spend a lot of time in your heart and ask with a pure intention to remember what it was like to live in a fifth dimensional frequency with peace and harmony and love and the ability to communicate with the dolphins and whales and the other animals, to experience the crystalline healing temples that Yai created, to know that the anti-aging situation that was in place was we didn't have to choose to age at that time. We could rejuvenate ourselves very quickly and very easily. So that might seem like pie in the sky to you, but it's not. I mean, it's actually not. That's a huge part of the templates that the white whales are bringing to us now and the work I do in the energy medicine school. They're bringing us processes and meditations and ways to connect to that part of your DNA that allows you to go into a timeline of no time. It's a quantum healing where there's a flow of frequency where you get to choose what you're going to look like, what you're going to feel like, and what right relationship with your career or your job will be as you move into it. Look at all the people changing jobs now. Look at all the people forming new educational groups and new programs for ways of being and right relationship with that. So we call it cosmic conscious creation. So tapping into that star seed energy that seeded Lemuria, and we're bringing it into the DNA. And again, once again, wanting to communicate through pure intention with the animal masters and star beings that already have that. And they're just seriously sitting around in your living room waiting to connect with you. So when you make that pure intention to go into the heart and surrender the duality of the mind, it becomes very easy. And wisdom will flow through you. And that's what's happening. That's why we're doing this. You're feeling that even right now. Wherever you are, you're feeling some kind of wisdom come into you right now that allows you to move into mastery of some kind and into conscious creation, to be a part of creating the new world. Because we've got one foot in it right now, and some of you more maybe than the other, some of you going back and forth between the third and the fifth dimension. But we're in to quote my partner, she says, we're in the astral court of the deity. It's birthing right now, and there's no going back. So it's important to go forward with the vibration of Gaia. And there's a lot of ways to do that. So monitor your thought forms. Monitor if you feel a judgment coming on or you feel some type of negative impulse coming over you. Just stop. Seriously. Again, I have to keep quoting my partner. She's right here. Is if it isn't loving, don't. Don't think it, don't say it, don't do it, don't walk it, don't talk it, don't fax it, don't email it. If it isn't loving, don't. Just choose again. I mean, that sounds maybe pie in the sky, but I don't think it is. I mean, if moment to moment as we move through the day and we choose love, we are returning to the Lemurian ways of living. So that's, I could say a lot more, but that's a good place to start, isn't it?
Beautiful. Thank you, Laurie. I love that. We can feel in an instant when we're not in our heart. We're becoming masters at that at this point. So that's a great start. That's a great
and a good point to maybe write on your wall or on your mirror is observation versus judgment. I mean, we've been ingrained and taught to judge and to compete and to compare ourselves and all of that. It's hooey. I'm sorry. It's not who we are. We were never meant to judge each other or to have put one over another. We're all loved equally. We're here to support each other, love each other, and share the concepts of our diversity, to be more than we can be because we come together as, like the dolphins teach, the pod mind, which is the good of living for the many. So if you can participate in that paradigm, you're doing really well. Just keep doing it. Becoming more dolphin like all the time.
The dolphins don't judge each other. We
No,
should not
they don't.
judge.
They just love and they share.
It's beautiful. I'm in a place right now where there's no judgment like that. People do not judge. They don't complain. They don't judge. And that just feels so fresh. There's no body shame. There's nothing. And that's so loving. And I do see that for the rest of the world. And the people here are very connected to Gaia. They see the weather patterns, they see the birds, they see the animals. And so and this is in a direct Kundalini line to Mount Shasta, so we can all tap into it. Okay, beautiful. Lowell, next response, please.
Here's what I get, kid. You touched on vibrations. I can't really elaborate anymore on Laurie, although we all want to, we get in the groove and talk about that feeling we get. We don't want to stop, but it was a good spot. My focus and what my guides have been telling me to remind the rest of you is we need to work on ourselves. Pay attention to your own flame. And as that gets perfected, and everybody else freaking notices it. You don't have to utter a word. And when you walk through the crowd, they see something ignited in you that get their attention. And then there'll be that subset that'll want to know what the hell that's about. And we're in that period right now with this reawakening taking place at an accelerated rate that I can't even keep track of anymore. Here's what, over the last 2 weeks, I've had at least one Zoom session with a new person every day. And 4 into it, I finally got this perspective. These were all Lemurians claiming to show up. And in my head, I got this vision of the Lemurian section of the Halls of Amenti. And when I was looking at them, they're all hidden behind this veil. And on the shelf, you see all these individual records, and they're also kind of hazy. As the next Lemurian comes in, they know exactly where their section is. And when they get close to their section, the veil in front of their section like disappears. And as soon as they touch their records, all of them ignite. And not only their records, but every Lemurian that's been here before them, now they can see those ignited on the shelves. What's taking place is those are their individual Akashic records from their Lemurian memories of culture, wisdom, technologies, and see how they're all coming back together to kind of paint the new illustration of what Lemurians were before we get to enjoy who they're going to be.
Beautiful.
Very good. Yeah. Self-love, definitely the foundation of anything that's sustainable.
It's
Self-love
infectious.
and freedom, finding your own freedom. Very good.
Yeah, it feels like there's, like the rules, the rules that are in place on this planet. They're so old because it's going to be taken over by our integrity, our personal integrity of being in the heart. And so it's kind of interesting to see how the world is shifting. And that's what makes everyone watching this a new earth leader. And so that's why it's so important. So, wow, it's really exciting, as Laurie mentioned as well. Okay, Vivian, your turn. What can we do to assist in this reunification of Lemuria and Atlantis energies and Lemuria rising?
Yes, it's a great question. So like the Arcturians always like in their teachings to remind everyone, in case of doubt, go back to your light, choose your light. Take the time to breathe, come back into divine neutrality, invite the mind to connect with your heart, and take the time to release the excess of energies you may have absorbed. I know there's a lot of different overlapping frequencies right now. Everybody's coming out. There's all kind of ideas and concepts. So just in case of doubt, choose your light. Take a deep breath. I reset in divine neutrality. I choose my light. And then from there, you can ask clarification. Show me, reveal to me. I'm ready to receive. I like to use the golden ray of illumination and enlightenment. So when I need to have more clarity on something before getting all caught up in the entanglement of the lower logic mind, always says, I need higher truth. May higher truth be revealed to me from the realm of enlightenment to the golden ray. And this way you can really transcend this, any form of lower energy, like a veil that kind of put onto your intuitive guidance systems, your third eye. It veils also your emotional body. It overloads your emotional field and your mental field. Ask, beyond all of this, reveal to me. And take the time every day to cultivate more and more this inner practice of inner peace. And this is more than world peace. Inner peace, it's a universal principle and universal virtue. Why? Because when you give away your light, your authority, and your inner peace, you give the best of your essence to a situation, a statement made online, a political affirmation on TV, or something you watch on YouTube, or wherever the source comes from. So ask yourself, am I going to give away the truth of my essence today? Am I giving away my light, my power, which is also your sovereignty, and your inner peace? Those are really treasure of energy that belongs to you, to your true essence. So ask yourself, where and how am I giving away the essence of myself? And by reflecting on that, you can already start to feel the change going, oh, that makes me thinking, that makes me feel. And already invite all of your energy. So bring yourself back to your center first. Can you into loving presence, deep breath, reset. Where am I right now? And because thoughts are forms, this is why it's called a thought form, well, it will generate the energy or the co-creation that is sustaining belief systems and sustaining emotion. Remember that your emotional center is part of the power that human being and the earth, human being, the race, really you have. This is where there's so many ET beings coming, or cosmic being who wants to understand, where is this light coming from? Where is this energy coming from? That's part of your emotional field. You carry great power within you. So instead of using it and spending it and all in kind of flavors and pace, remember the cultivation of how you're utilizing these really important aspects of your essence. And that will lead to a more conscious self-mastery pathway. For example, how do you live in your community every day? When you travel, and I know you may be in a hurry, are you throwing your plastic bottle on a garbage can on the floor that will end up in a landfill? Or are you saying, I'm responsible for this bottle, which I am, by the way, and I will either reutilize it or I'm going to recycle in a conscious way. But just this little gesture means a lot. When you're done with your bottle, if there's water left, open it, share with nature, return water to nature, never waste water or resources. Now that may sound very grounded in 3D. This is why I'm here in this physical form, because I understand that we are important bridge between the cosmic intelligence to our star families, angelic beings, advanced beings, consciousness of Gaia, the spirit of nature, where you are the sacred bridge, you are the guardians, you are the emissaries who have come here in this physical biological form. So it's really about, how do you live every day? Get off the autopilot of the mind, the 3D logic mind. Get off the autopilot of pre-programming of belief system because your parents think this way, or your upbringing in a certain way, or your ancestors or your grandparents, and step into understanding, who am I? I'm a unique expression of light in this physical form. I have learned from my background, what do I keep still that serve me today? And what do I release lovingly? It says, thank you for teaching me these values. I'm still going to release them and embody higher values instead. That's a choice you have. What values do you carry? What do you believe in? What do you give power, authority? If you plug yourself back on the machine and technology, well, you're giving that power to that technology. Discover the true authority, the power that you harvest within you, to your gut spark, to your intuition, to your body template as a very phenomenal piece of machinery that is much more advanced than anything you can really touch right now on the planet. And when the time comes, like ourselves, the Octurians and others, we have quantum organic consciousness assisted technology. And when in time, we can share, but only when the human race is at that point. We want to avoid damaging the earth any further. We want to avoid destructing the timeline to another distortion line. We want to make sure we are preserving together and co-creating this organic timeline. So be mindful of where are you quick to put your mind into accepting your reality, and then it become your construct, and then you feed it. So these are more practical ways that we choose. This is why I chose this humanized hybrid form to be on the planet. Even though I am a nocturnal being, we knew that we will have a better, more positive, direct impact on the planet and for human beings than if I had retained myself in my Arcturian form. Believe me, it would be easier for me, but it would not as impactful if I am right now. So implementing fifth dimensional mentality is embodying it every day to all the gesture. Fifth dimensional frequency is your baseline that you're returning to. It's a baseline of unification, love, community, recognize the individual expression within the common good of the all, and you will start to understand how we think, how we perceive time, how the universe is working, how on a quantum level everything evolves. So take the step every day. There's no need for exhaustive training, but take the time to say, where am I? Where am I give out? Where's my light? What gift am I giving? What am I feeding? And how am I living? So we call it the return by living by the essentials. And that's part of the baseline of our teaching. So just take a deep breath, fill in your heart, and release. It is far more simple than it seems, and yet it is far more powerful than it seems as well. That's the beauty of that paradox. Simplicity and yet empowerment.
You know, I find myself every now and then getting to participate in one of these with Vivian. And you all know where I stand on what I think we should think about sovereignty. I've never heard anybody place such a beautiful explanation of where your attention goes and the attention itself until today. And then here's the part where, being in these sessions with Vivian, all of a sudden I find myself in an Arcturian wisdom session. Thank you.
I love it when you said that fifth dimensional energy is baseline. I love that that should be our baseline. I love that. It's so perfect.
Yes.
Beautiful. Go ahead, Vivian. Is there more?
No, I was just going to say hello because I want to recognize and acknowledge all of you, and I'm very, very happy to be here, and acknowledging also some of my beautiful members of my online community who are here. With Suin from Australia is here, Jeannie from Arizona. There you are, Jeannie. You've been with me for a very long time, dear. So hello to you and much love to all of you. I'm so honored to be here.
Yes, we have both our Zoom audience here and our live stream on YouTube, and almost 100 people for that. And it's beautiful. More will listen to the recording. It's really wonderful. You know, one of the things that I notice that I find fascinating, connecting the dots, continuing to connect the dots with the wisdom that comes in, the more that I can do what you share, Vivian, and say, stay centered. Laurie, you say, stay in the open heart, and wisdom will come to us. It's totally true. And when I've started to pin together the pieces or put the pieces together is something about the blue ray or the rays of creation. Laurie, I know that you've taught on this, rays of creation. It's a beautiful concept. But when we start to really identify who we are, what ray or rays we come in on, we start to see more information. And I find it fascinating that the Arcturians are blue rays. They absolutely are. Adama in Telos is a blue ray. That's fascinating to me. And I would guess that Lowell, you're a Blu-ray. Laurie, I know you're a Blu-ray.
Yes, I am a Blu-ray.
You know that. See?
Yeah.
And you're a Blu-ray because you're Arcturian. So I looked around one day, and even just normal street people, you know what I mean? People who are everyday people. Maybe they're not on the path as we are. But I looked around in my circle and I asked people, what's your favorite color? I start there. Everyone said blue, blue, blue. And then I realized people in my inner circle are the blue rays. So it's just interesting for me. And I know other people listening to this, they may be a gold ray or the yellow ray or other colors of the rainbow, but it's just fascinating the information that comes on in that. And when I heard that Adama was a blue ray, it just amazes me. It really does. So
I think you
what do
should
we
tell
Just
people
get to-
tell people who Adama is, because people may not know.
Adama is the master he's would you say he's the king, the equivalent of a king of
No, there is a king and queen in Telos. Ra and Ranamu are
He's a
actually the
president.
13th chair.
okay,
He
go ahead.
is the head priest. And
Yeah, yeah.
understand that the council is made up of 6 masculine and 6 feminine. They're all twin flames. So Adama is kind of, think of him as the chairman of this group. But there's hierarchy
Beginning
beyond that we didn't know until Sharula Dux came along and left this for us.
Sharula ducks. That's a fascinating. Who knows anything about Sharula ducks? Where is she? She came from inside Telos and lived on the surface for many years. Does anyone have whereabouts on where she is? What happened with her?
Here's what I can tell you. Because she had a relationship with Diane Robbins while she was on the surface. The information I eventually was pointed to, and the first time I was pointed to it by Rob Potter, I went, yeah. I wasn't ready for it. I didn't recognize this as a Lemurian historical document, and I failed to understand the importance of it until somebody else showed up in Diane's field last year. I had heard this in 12 pieces because it's a 2-hour presentation she did in 1993, and Diane had audio taped it. So that's this existing record from Sharula talking about the conditions in Telos and the structures and life. If you haven't listened to it yet, I put it on my website free for everybody to listen to because they should. Here is history. A lot of the knowledge that I got and a lot of the, oh yeah, that's right, came from that. But in answer to your question, she seemed to be here like from the late 80s until like 2005, 2007, she dropped off. At the time she recorded the presentation, she claimed she was 268 surface years old.
Interesting. That's demonstrating that anti-aging technique that we were talking about.
They're just flawless, but
Yeah.
that's a different form. That's kind of a light form in crystalline fashion. It's not this carbon stuff we're riding around in.
Right.
Someone brought, Vivian, it was you. You brought up the Lemurian light body. Does anyone want to share more on the Lemurian light body? What does that entail?
Well, it's first it's going to be part of my lecture, so you have to come to conference.
Okay.
Yeah. That's it.
Number 2, think about it, based on what we have been sharing, there's a rising in the new unified heal timeline around Lemuria. So of course it is affecting also how the light body is shifting. So we're going to align ourselves with the quality of it. But you have to come to my lecture and then we'll do an activity.
Beautiful. Okay.
Nice.
All right. Well, this is a beautiful time to talk about the Mount Shasta retreat. It's going to be held at the Mount Shasta Resort, and it's 2 days of conference with an experimental out on the mountain the first night in the evening. The second night, there's time to, at the end of the day, go outside as well. And then the third day is a water blessing ceremony, and that will be on
The second day. That's the second day in the
Okay.
evening. Yeah.
So Laurie, share with us more about this retreat that is going to happen.
Well, like you said, it's 2 days of conference with amazing speakers, and you can go to the link. I think you put it in the chat and
Yes,
see
it's
all the details of the schedule. But other speakers are Judy Callie and Andrew Ozer. I think I'm saying it correctly. He couldn't be with us today because he's doing a Mount Shasta journey, but he lives up there and does this amazing journeys up onto the mountain. And of course, he speaks extensively on the history of Lemuria, including Telos, because he's up there every day and communicating with them. He's a student of Diane Robbins, which is how I actually connected with him. He's going to be a part of it. So the end of the first day, which is conference, he's going to take a sunset journey for those that want to go up onto the mountain and to see the sunset and experience the mountain physically for the first time. And then the second day is conference, and I'm speaking, Loren's speaking, Vivienne is speaking, Lowell is speaking. And at the end of the day, we're going out onto, there's a beautiful lake there at Mount Shasta Resort, and we're going to do a global water blessing. So we're going to ask people to bring water from their home world, from their tap, so that we can speak on how to transform the water through blessing, and also how to focus more inwardly on blessing the water in your own body to change the frequency. And for anyone who doesn't know now, a large part of my work is working with whales. Whales carry a quantum signature energy in their sounds, particularly the humpback whales. And when you're in the presence of humpback whale sounds, the water crystals in your body, in the bloodstream, change in 30 seconds. They move into the molecular structure of the double star tetrahedron, which is the molecule of the light body. So we're teaching people about just the power of tapping into these ancient elders and the quantum sound that they bring us for healing. I could tell you thousands of stories of animals and people that heal in the presence of whales, but one of the things they've taught us is to bless the waters, because that's what they do all day long. They're out there blessing the waters and changing the structure of the frequency of the water. So that's the second day. And then for those that want to stay out, we'll do what Loren calls a sky watch. And it's one of the most incredible places to see our beautiful star family as they would fly over. Or, I remember one time I was up there, it was, I don't know, maybe a couple of years ago, and we watched a couple of different masters throw plasma balls across back and forth to each other on the side of the mountain. We weren't even really up on the mountain, and they would form a ball and then they'd throw it to the other master, and the other master would throw it back, and were watching these explosions of light, like plasma baseball, I guess you'd say. So they don't hold back. They'll show you all kinds of wonderful things if you can release your fear and just be in the presence of their great love. So that's always fun, and you can do that on your own as well. So. And then the third day is only for people who attend in person. We're going to carpool up to the mountain to Bunny Flats to the ceremony site. And we don't exactly know everything that's going to happen, but I know there'll be a journey into the mountain. That's one of the things I love to lead. And I know Lowell will have a part of it. Vivienne, well, who knows? My partner, Master Putty, usually tells at some point her information from one of her great channels, which is the origin of water, where we start to realize that water was actually delivered to our planet a specific day and time before, of course, people were here. And how it contains this information, which is never destroyed, it's only recycled. So when we move into the vibration of healing the water, we heal everything. It's just absolutely phenomenal. So anyway, the ceremony will be wonderful, and then people will have opportunity to explore the mountain on their own, or technically speaking, we'll have a closing ceremony, and the retreat will come to an end there on that third day. So there's a lot to look forward to, and a lot will happen. And I can promise you will shift. I don't exactly know which way or how much, but people shift. And that's why we keep coming back, is just to experience more and more of that light, the wisdom and the joy and the healing that the mountain brings to us. Yeah.
Really looking forward to connecting with the energies there and amplifying those and opening up to more communication with our beautiful family, the Lemurian family. We've said before, if anyone has ever been, I can say everybody watching this right now is definitely Lemurian, but that word Lemuria for me was a beacon. 30 years ago, oh my goodness, 30 years ago, it was a beacon for me, and 10 years go by, and then it came up again, and I found my soul family through that word Lemuria. So it really is a reunion, and a great awakening is occurring as we all come into this gathering and remember. Okay. Well, Laurie, is there anything you'd like to say? Maybe Master Puda has a message?
Well, her teachings now are really grounded in self-empowerment, about how people are coming back to their own mastery, and to realize that, again, no one is loved more than another, no one is more unique or special, but there is difference in levels of our experience in the many lifetimes we've had here. So she's helping people return to the heart, which will then catalyze the memories that will open you up to releasing the memories that are in your dormant DNA. Here's an example. She says, you all have lived lives on the planet before. Some of them were of mastery, of enlightenment. And some of you will sit here right now and say, well, I don't remember that, or that's not true. How could I have been a master? And she would say, if you would open to it, it will be revealed to you that the library of your DNA, your Akash, if you will, is there's lifetimes of enlightenment in there. And when you work with these energies, we're speaking of the Lemurian energies, we work with the whales, we work with the animal masters, the star family, they'll catalyze an energy within you with your permission. It's all done with free will. They can't do it without your permission to activate this dormant strands of DNA that will bring back the memories of enlightenment. And after doing this type of work, it's very common for someone to just wake up like in a day to maybe a week later, and they have restored a gift unto themselves without having to go to school. They don't have to educate themselves or study. It just comes back. Some people sit down and play the piano. Other people paint a painting. Other people find out that they're dancers or engineers or philosophers. All kinds of things will come back to you. And I can raise my hand. This happens to me on a continual basis. I'm doing things now that if you knew me before, you wouldn't even believe. I had a horrible fear of public speaking. I had a horrible, I was born with this nauseous energy where I couldn't go out on the water, seasickness, airsick, car sick, all of that. And now, a whole lot of my life is taking people out on boat trips to see dolphins and whales, to snorkel and to visit them in various parts of the world. So whatever it is that you think you can't do, you probably can if you'll allow yourself to come into this experience where the DNA can be restored to its original perfection, to its original abilities. So again, it says, as Lowell said too, self-empowerment, freedom, self-love comes back in a way where you can fall back into the love of the divinity that you carry, and you can see yourself in a new light. And this isn't standing up on a soapbox saying, hey, listen to me, I'm better than someone else. That's not my point. My point is you'll come into a natural sense of mastery, a natural sense of knowing from the heart that you're here for a very specific reason. You're very powerful. You are filled with light and love, and the more light and love you pour into it, it's like the vehicle that you carry becomes able to travel into all different realms and ways of beingness, and you become very, very joyful, which is the rocket fuel for what we want to do. Passion, joy, excitement, love. This is the rocket fuel to return to the feeling state, the emotional state of well-being. The emotional body is the carrier of sustainability and creation. And so much of us are still here in this analytical construct, and it's blocking us. So she says, it's not to disrespect your mind or the intellect, but when the heart is the guiding force, only love can prevail, and it will talk your mind into some wonderful stuff, where your mind will talk you out of it. Does that make sense? I think so. So it's coming back to that love state and retraining ourselves to come back and to live in the sustainability and the love frequency of solution energy, which is love. So it's important not to forget how important you are, that this world would not be the same without you. It's like look in the mirror, and for some of you, I realize that's a stretch, but it's true. You are important. You're loved and you're supported. And doing this type of retreat and coming with like-minded people will help you step into being a role model for the planet and a mentor for others without even really realizing it. It'll just happen quite naturally, organically. So Spirit is guiding us, she says, in this expansion, in making connections with nature, with the guardians of the planet, and with each other, to love one another. Remember the great master Jesus? He said 3 little words, love one another. But you can't do that if you don't love yourself first, right? So we hope you come, and we hope you'll join us, and that together we can raise the collective vibration of everything everywhere. But again, it does start at home. So thank you for listening.
So beautiful. Thank you. Yes, we invite everyone watching and listening to come. If you can't come in person, join the live stream. Again, that will be a precious, beautiful, sacred container as well. But when you come in person, I'm looking forward to giving a heart hug to everyone. Laurie, I can't wait to give you a heart hug. Lowell, Vivian, oh my gosh, we'll just do a giant group hug. I can see that would be wonderful. Just to be in everyone's.
Bringing a lot of Andorian crystals too that carry the Lemurian frequency, so you'll get to see them. And we're bringing Altazar, who is the beautiful crystal skull that was gifted to me a number of years ago. We don't really have time to tell the story, but he was gifted to me, and his name was, I forgot. Okay, it doesn't matter. Anyway, he had a name.
You'll tell it there.
And then Puda came in one day, and she said, the Lemurian king wants to live here. And I went, well, why would the Lemurian king want to live here? And she said, well, a better question is, why would he not want to live here? I mean, we talk about Lemuria almost every day. We do Lemurian retreats. Dolphins and whales are Lemurian. And we have this beautiful crystal skull. And the consciousness would like to shift over to embody Alcazar is with Stargate. Altazar is with me. And this was some years ago, even before I met Jules and Prageet. And so we had a beautiful 3-day ceremony, and we were guided by the animals on how to clear the energy and open the space of the crystal skull. And we're going to bring him so you can see him and you can pick him up. He's a lap skull. He likes to be passed around. It's kind of big and heavy, but he's going to go up on the mountain too. It's amazing, and he's weaving the frequency of gold into his crystal skull, which is quartz. And he's almost, I mean, about 3/4 now. He's gold. It's changing all the time. He's weaving that gold energy into the skull, which is the alchemy of creating the light body. So it's pretty exciting. He's going to be there too. I forgot to mention him.
Mm.
Well,
Oh, Vivian, go ahead.
just to your point, Lauren, what you were saying, yes, a big collective hug. And I just want to bring the energy back to what you're saying, because I feel like bringing all of us together. So thank you for saying that.
And I want to make just a quick comment about, we were talking about the Lemurian frequencies and maybe this reunification between Atlantis and Lemuria. And some of us feel a deep heart pull when we hear that word Lemuria. And so if we really truly understand that we are neutralizing those experiences of a timeline that got ripped in or put in place, or programs that got installed into us, we are doing that work by neutralizing it through our heart, not like taking something negative and just turning it into happiness, but taking it to 0 point and totally neutralizing it. So when we feel those feelings, there's actually an opportunity to neutralize it for the collective, not just for ourselves. And I think that's a really important thing, because when we get together like this, those memories will come up. We may have dreams when we're on the mountain. That's really amazing. We may have visitations, like Lowell has visitations. And so when feelings come up, maybe we're there to be great neutralizers as part of this reunification between Atlantis and Lemuria into that new future timeline. That to me is New Earth, and we're doing it. And so I'm so pleased that all of you are here and considering this. And so we invite you to join us. Check out the link that's in the chat box. Check out the link that's in the YouTube, and feel into your heart and see if this is something that you want to take on this journey, whether it's just a journey online with us in the live stream or in physicality. I think it's a beautiful time. We're halfway through this very powerful year. And this time of the year, I'm getting goosebumps. It's almost like the 8 infinity symbol of what this year is. Meeting in July is almost right there in that 0 point. So it's a beautiful time to spend the summer in the Lemurian vibration. So we hope you all join us. It's going to be fun. And I think we should dance and sing and hum and skip as much as we can as well. Okay. So as we say goodbye, I want to give each of you a few closing moments to share any final thoughts. Let's start with Vivian.
And thank you, Lauren. I was going to say I'm going to have to get going because I have to go back to the conference. I have other commitments here. But really, I feel like we have really brought the essence, and there will be so much more revealed, because between today and the end of May, by the time we are in July together, it's going to be after the summer solstice. It's going to be even more energy coming to the planet. So just let your heart guide you. It's a time of reunification. It's again a time of grand rising, and it is really a time of choosing the timeline we really want to embrace and co-manifest together. So as the Octrans always said, stay in the certainty of your light and walk in the power of your light. And we cannot wait to see all of you and to be with you in Mount Shasta for the Lemurian retreat. So see you there, everyone.
Okay.
Bless
Thank
us.
you, Vivian.
Thank you,
Thanks
Vivian.
for being here. Thank you. We know you have to pop off, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
taking time. We appreciate it.
Yes. Yes.
Of course.
Lots of love.
lots of love to both of you. It was very important for me to be here. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. And Lowell, final thoughts. Thank you.
It's so good to see you. We need to do this again because there's a lot of other things to catch up on. But aside from that, the theme that kept popping up to me is we've given people really good instructions. And for those of you that are still kind of wandering around trying to figure out how to get it together, you have to become an observer of yourself first. Really, I can't measure what I'm doing until I pay attention to myself. And now you'll start to develop some discernment. And when these energies are coming at us now that Laurie referred to, this solar impact stuff that's coming at us at record levels is the stuff that's going to be the catalyst to kick all sentient life into its next level of consciousness. And that is something that I want you to pay attention to. It's a little difficult for you to do that till you pay attention to this vessel how first, and then you'll understand and begin to feel those sensations before Noah reports on them, because you will.
Yeah.
That is a physical phenomenon that many light workers are already experiencing. It's really amazing. And I just can't wait to tune into that more myself. And I know being in that Mount Shasta energy will absolutely amplify this for each of us, right? You're certain of that. Yeah.
Roger that.
Cool. Okay. Thank you, Lowell. We're really looking forward to seeing you. I'm looking forward to meeting you in person.
Me
Thank you.
too. Thank
Me
you.
too. Yeah, very much so.
And
Very much.
beautiful Laurie, thank you. Thank you. Final thoughts.
Okay. Before I say the final thoughts, I thought of something I should mention, that if you want to email me, it's lauriereyon@yahoo.com. Many people have that are seeking travel buddies to come up to the mountain, or roommates, a place to share to work with your financial situation. So if you email me, we'll forward that to the other people, and potentially you can make a hookup that will benefit you. So know that we'll try to help. Okay. So let's just go into our hearts, and let's come into this beautiful energy where we hear the calling to paradise. And part of that, of course, is Mount Shasta. It's a place that our soul knows well. It's a place of beauty. It's a place of peace. And as light workers and people who are committed to creating peace on earth, we're called to connect to the ancient Lemurians and to connect to the city of Telos. So the sacred earth knows us. Mother Moo, she knows you, and she wants you to know her better. So we ask to be the hands and feet of spirit as we move into this beautiful retreat and bring the voices of truth to ourselves so that we can take those voices out into the world. We can become the oracles of prophecy to create the fifth dimensional new earth, and to become more each day of a conscious creator called to connect to create the template of unity and birthing the new earth. So blessings to each of you. And we really hope that we can see you up on that beautiful mountain, or on the Zoom room. Love you lots. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Namaste.
Oh, thank you, Laurie. Thank you. That phrase, I wrote it down. Mother Moo knows you. That's powerful.
Yeah.
And what a great beacon. That's a beacon of love right there. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for being here and feeling these Lemurian energies. No matter where you are on the planet, you can always tap into these Lemurian energies. As Laurie said, Mother Moo knows you. And so it's time to raise the Lemurian frequency. It is being amplified. We are being supported in so many ways. We are great neutralizers of all the denser energies. Just know that. And so when we get done with neutralizing those denser energies, wow, we fill ourselves with even more love and light. And those aurora borealis pink lights, that is Mother Moo. I get that. That is feminine. So special this time that we're in. All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Reach out if you have any questions, and we really hope to see you in person in Mount Shasta, or definitely on our live stream Zoom room. Thank you, everyone. Lowell, thank you. Laurie, thank you. Blessings to all. Namaste.
Aloha.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Beautiful.